What up YouTube, Bonsai here, back with another movie review, and today I'm going to be reviewing Dune Part 2. And yeah, if you've been following my channel, you know that the reason this review is coming out so late is because the only cinema in my whole country wasn't able to secure the rights to the movie when it came out last month. So that's why this movie review is coming so late. But now this time around for my movie review, I decided to do something a bit different because I'm such a big fan of this Dune franchise and sci-fi in general. I wanted to watch the movie with a friend and just sort of have a out of theater pure reaction from him, how he felt about the series. So his name is Jesse. He is a bit of a normie as far as this franchise is concerned. He did enjoy the first movie and was definitely interested in trying this, checking this movie out, and so we watched it together. And so I'm going to hop on over now, and you're just going to get a quick snippet of his impressions of the movie right after we watch it. So yeah. Okay guys, so I'm here with my buddy Jesse.
Hey.
So Jesse, we just came out of the cinema now, finished watching Dune 2. What's your overall impression of the movie? Just
overall impression. Okay. In general, I found it very complex. Like, there are a lot of things involved in the movie, story-wise, and also they bring a lot of ideas in it. But basically, it's revolving around just the one character. So for me, it feels like there's not too much involved.
Was it too overwhelming?
Too overwhelming. I could follow along, even though it was very long. Yeah. So that's my overall impression.
Okay. Yeah. And did you like it? How did you feel?
For me personally, I kind of enjoyed it. It was okay. I went along with the ride, very invested in the story and everything.
What was some memorable moments or things in the movie that you like stood out to you? Moments.
Okay. The first moment, which was very it left an impression on me, was Paul when he's with the other female lead,
Zendaya,
yeah,
character here,
and then
Chani,
and he's like, even though he's just been accepted into the Sand tribe or whatever, he still remained focused on his family. He hasn't forgotten his Atreides part of things. He's trying to lead back up,
revenge,
even though he's revenge and all this, skipping true to his word to his father. Try to honor that. So that was the first memorable part. And then at the end of no spoilers, he kept his word.
Now you can say spoilers.
He kept his word. So and at the end of the movie, when he accomplished his goal and he was able to unite all the tribes, and then he was finally able to
get revenge for
his father. It's one of
the best
moments of the movie so far for me. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
And then it's also building. And another moment for me was the part where it's still not over. There's still more things. It's building up.
You can see the next stage.
The next stage of the movie. Yeah. I mean, the movies are going. Yeah.
That's nice.
Three points there. Very memorable.
Awesome. Okay, so the last thing then was which characters did you enjoy the most? Which characters had the most impact?
The most impact, I'd say the Paul
himself,
and the guy that kept on worshipping him.
Phil guy.
Yeah, that's Phil guy. Yeah,
Phil guy. He's a very faithful guy.
He's a very faithful guy. Whatever little thing Paul did, it was he knows the way.
I think I'd like him too. So
yeah.
Okay. So those two. Any other characters that you like particularly?
I'd say not but I'd say I have a feeling that things might, because of this certain character, the plot is gonna be more there'll be more to the story down the line later on, probably film trailers, where the story is going.
Which character specifically?
The mother and the sister.
The mother and the sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could tell that there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
You recognize Anya Taylor-Joy when she showed up.
Yes, Anya Taylor-Joy, because
Nice. What would you give it out of a 10, let's say?
On a scale of 10, I'd give it probably 6.5, almost a 7.
6.5, almost 7. Okay, that's fair. All right. Any other last things to say about the movie? Or that's movie?
If you guys are willing to spend 25 kina and spend probably 2 to almost 3 hours in cinema for this experience, go ahead. It's worth your time and money.
Nice. Okay, awesome. Thanks very much, bro, for that. And thanks for taking part in this.
Sure thing.
So yeah, as you can see, Jesse definitely enjoyed the movie. Gave it a solid 7, 6.5 at the lowest. And so yeah, he definitely enjoyed the movie. I probably should have asked him what they might have done to make the movie more enjoyable for him. And if I do ask him on time, I'll probably put that up on the screen here. But yeah, other than that, he enjoyed the movie, and so that made me like the movie more, because as someone who's a fan of this, I wanted other people to watch it and enjoy it as much. So, and as for myself, I just to be clear, I've never actually read the books, but because I'm such a fan of sci-fi in general, and like I used to be a big fan of Star Wars, and right now I'm a really huge fan of Warhammer 40k. I know that a lot of the things that I love about the fantasy universes, the sci-fi universes like Warhammer and Star Wars, was like sort of copied over from Dune, right? So for example, the Force in Star Wars was sort of inspired more or less by the voice in Dune. George Lucas took that, redeveloped it, spiced it up, and turned it into what you see in Star Wars. And then for Warhammer 40k, there's like a whole bunch of other stuff. You know, you can take the whole concept of the I'm not going to spoil it, but Emperor, that was copied from Dune. And so yeah, I appreciate a lot of these ideas and concepts, seeing them when I first learned about Dune, what the franchise was, and studying into it. I appreciated seeing where the worlds that I've come to love got their inspiration from. And so I was definitely looking forward to this movie when I first heard that it was coming out, the first one and this one. So as for my overall impression, you can, as I've already said, I liked it a lot. I'd say the thing that I enjoyed the most, which funny enough surprised me, was Paul Atreides himself and Timothée Chalamet's portrayal of him. Because funnily enough, I love the world of Dune. I love the world building, all of the Bene Gesserit, the different houses of the Landsren, the Emperor, the whole concept. I love the Sardaukar, Fremen, and all of that. Prescient. Like, I loved a lot of these grand ideas that are baked into Dune. But this was all from sort of reading it as an outsider, not reading the books, but just reading purely about the lore and the background. So funnily enough, like, me appreciating Dune came more so from the plot and stuff rather than the characters. So that's where I was coming into this show, this franchise from. So I never really resonated with Paul personally a lot. Didn't like him, but I didn't really like him. But somehow he really won me over during this movie. And I have to give a lot of credit to Timothée Chalamet's performance. I didn't like him for the role at first because I wanted someone who was a bit bulky. I find Chalamet to be a bit too lanky and boyish, I guess. And I would have wanted him to bulk up a bit during this movie at least. I think they're supposed to be a time skip, but they didn't do that. And I think if they had done that, bulked Chalamet up in the time skip, that would have been nice. But either way, like, the physical whatever aside, he really freaking owned that role. And I really come to appreciate him as an actor now, especially after this, you know, him portraying such an important series for someone like me. And like really nailing that role, right? When he does that speech and he really like riles them all up, you know, to be honest, I agree with his mother. Like, when initially, at least, when he came in very strong with his speech, it was very commanding. Like, I thought, whoa, that's a bit too fast and too far and too hard. Take it back there, Junior. But then he actually like really spun that whole speech around and owned it, and then he kept that intensity, and he spoke to that guy like really closely and did the whole thing with the grandmother and everything. And so he like shocked me. Even like, I knew it was going to happen, I was expecting it to happen, but the way it happened was done so well and executed really well. So I enjoy Chalamet's performance and everything. I appreciate this character of Paul a lot more, especially after seeing that scene. And so, you know, I also really enjoyed the internal struggle and internal monologues that Paul was going, you know, like, he knows that, like, yeah, the power's there, it's tempting somewhat because he can use it to get revenge on his dad, but then at the same time, he wants to sort of keep his moral center. He knows that a lot of people will die if he chooses to go all the way 100%. And, you know, it's only really when he, you know, is at his last legs that he decides to give in. So that's kind of understandable, but I enjoyed seeing that struggle play out. Internal struggle. So yeah, all in all, solid portrayal by Chalamet, of a solid character, a very important character. And so moving on from that, the other character that stood out to me that I enjoyed the most would have been Stilgar, and the audience around me certainly did too. I genuinely didn't think Stilgar would wind up being like comedic relief, but the thing is, it fits really well with his character. He wasn't being like unnecessarily comedic. They didn't like just sort of break the fourth wall and make someone who's serious become comedic, like, you know, like Nick Fury and the MCU becoming like a laughing stock by the time Captain Marvel 2 came out, or whatever that movie was called. Like, that was just like ridiculous. But then in this one, he was still like keeping his sense, like, you knew who he was, you knew what he felt, his understanding, and then he just sort of naturally became funny at the end, at least to me and my audience. But it was believable, like, the way he was. And whoever that actor is, he did a fantastic job as well, portraying this guy who was like a genuine faith crusader type person, jihadist, I should say in this case. But yeah, it was great. I enjoyed his character. I'd say the second most, and then other than that, I think the other character I really enjoyed would have been the mother, Paul's mom. I think her plotting and scheming behind, like I genuinely enjoyed the scenes of her talking with her daughter, plotting and scheming and setting up things for her son. Like you can kind of see her like go ahead and plant the seeds and things, and then for Paul to come through and fulfill it. It's more or less showing what the Bene Gesserit as a whole have been doing for generations, planting all these seeds so that like later on they can come and reap the rewards. And it's just kind of like a perfect allegory for that. And yeah, I think in general they did a really fantastic job with this series as a whole, keeping people invested in, because like for most normie audiences, they're gonna want to follow a particular person and a particular character. For someone like me, I can love a series without even really caring so much about the characters. I already liked Dune, even though I wasn't very attached to any of the characters, right? But I became attached watching this. For someone like Jesse, for him, he definitely needed like Atreides, Paul, to serve as like the through line to really get him through this movie, understand Paul's journey, and then understand the world as a whole. And you know, having the world built around him slowly helps keep normies from getting too overwhelmed, but at the same time following the story well. So I think they did a fantastic job, the writers and Villeneuve with his directing, keeping everything centered around Paul, but building up a really nice world around it, so that like there's enough there that shows you that there's more going on in the world, but it doesn't get too overwhelming. Like I did talk to Jesse a bit more about what he felt was going to happen in the next series, and he actually had a theory about how he believes Paul's mother is actually setting him up so that his sister will take over or something like that, because he found the sister to be very fascinating. Like, not very fascinating, well, you know, he likes Anya Taylor-Joy, so there's that. But I think at the same time, he's like her being very powerful and going to do all these things, I think was like quite surprising to him. And I explained how the spice has something to do with that, so that was like his theory towards the end. And so I like the fact that like this movie, at the ending especially, it ends in a way that feels satisfying, because Paul gets his revenge by killing Baron Harkonnen and everything, and sort of ending, closing that book, right? But now it feels like there's still a lot more to go on, and you can kind of see the trajectory of it. And so fantastic job all around having this sort of book closed in this way. And you know, it definitely sets up the universe for more. And I'm glad to see that a lot of other people are also interested in seeing that. So yeah, all in all, I guess I'll sum up my impression of the movie here. I'd say give the movie a solid, I'm contemplating between 8.5 and 7 as far as my own personal opinion goes. I like to rank movies based on personal opinion versus like an objective opinion. So personally, I would give the movie an 8 out of 10, I think. I definitely enjoyed it more so because of how much I know about the series going through. Like I said, big fan of the Sardaukar. I really appreciated reading about the Butlerian Jihad when I studied up on this series when I met. So like I love a lot of the world building going on, so I really appreciate it more. And as someone who didn't know a lot about the world, I would say that was one thing that put it down from like a 9 or a 10 for me, because like I would have wanted more personally out of this series, more about the Landsred, more about the Spice Guild and the Spacer Guild, I forgot what they call again, the guys who fly through space and all of that. But obviously I understand why they had to sort of keep everything centered around Paul and everything. So for personal enjoyment, it actually gets knocked from a 9 to an 8. Now for an objectively speaking, I want to give it a solid 7, I'd say. And maybe if I knew more about like cinematography and sound mixing, I'd probably bump the ranking up a bit to like a 7.5, maybe even an 8, because from what I've been hearing, it's like as for like cinematography, there were a lot of like beautiful shots, and the music too was mixed very well. And you know, definitely that theme song is gonna be stuck in my head for a long time, or the theme scene part. So, yeah. But yeah, like I can't really, but in all honesty, I can't really speak to that because it's not something that I know enough about to comment that intricately on. But I could tell that it was definitely like, you know, top tier stuff. They really didn't slack off on the sound mixing or environmental stuff. So sorry, cinematography. So yeah, 7 objectively speaking, 8 out of 10 personally. That's how I felt. So yeah, that's my review of Dune 2. Hope you all enjoyed it. And yeah, I think in the future I'll probably do a video on the aliens from the 3-body problem, because I found them to be kind of interesting. I didn't particularly enjoy the show. I mean, I did sort of enjoy it, but it was kind of disappointing in some ways. And even the aliens, I have some things that I have to say about them, but I found them fascinating enough that I wanted to do a video about it. So that's going to be probably my next video. Is going to be a review on the aliens from that show. Not so much a review on the show itself, but I'll talk about it on the show. Anyway, that's in the future. Yeah, subscribe for that. Other than movies, I like to talk about video games or my country, Papua New Guinea. So if any of that fascinates you, you can go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Please like the video if you like the video. And with that, I'm going to end this one. This is BonzEye signing out. Catch you all later.